Hey, good morning. Welcome to the Sam Leah Show, guys. We're on a mission to become our best selves, and we're taking you along for the ride. So, you said you had a super busy weekend. You had a lot going on.
Girl, well, we got a closing date for our house.
Oh,
So the house that we're building, we got a closing date, which then kind of like sent my anxiety into like an overdrive of let's sell this house.
mm,
So my
hmm
dad came and ran through the house and kind of like he's a perfectionist. So it was really cool for him to go through and be like, I don't like this, change this, fix this, fix this. And so then we went to Lowe's and got a bunch of stuff. And Jared, I have to give a shout out to him for somebody that is not a handyman. He changed one, two, three, four light fixtures already. And
nice.
and only one small minor meltdown.
He didn't have to do like electrical stuff, right? Was it like
Well, I mean,
electrical?
you're switching out the white with the white and the
Kind
black with
of,
the black.
right.
Like it's that simple. But I
Yeah.
was in charge of turning circuit breakers off and we just did a couple things around here. So it feels good. We
Nice.
pushed, we're selling it ourselves. And so we put it on a couple new websites this weekend and it was all house. It was beautiful weather, played outside, kids had play dates. Like it was just
hmm
vitamin D
Yeah, my daughter had
all
a play
weekend.
date too. Yeah, so she had her first little craft fair thing. Her middle
Yeah.
school holds this craft fair for the kids, but I think it's so cute. It's only $5 and you get this whole huge table and you get to sell whatever you want. So kids had like baked goods and paintings
Uh-huh.
and keychains and all kinds of shit. And she made these little, they're like wooden boxes, and I helped her do it when we were doing it, but little wooden boxes, they were like treasure trinket. What does she call them?
Tranquility.
Tranquility trinket
Uh-huh.
boxes. So they had like a clear crystal quartz on top, and then you open it up, and then it had like moss with little other crystals and stones in there, and then each one had a different affirmation, like a positive affirmation. So it
Mm.
was really unique and super cute. So she sold out. She sold out. She was like one of the only kids there that had nothing. We like had to pack up and go, and everybody else was still, selling stuff for like a
That's
half an
pretty
hour.
cool.
Yeah,
I
so she
kinda
did
like
really
that.
good. I was proud of her. She does she was panicking, a little overwhelmed, and nervous the night before. She doesn't like to be center of attention at all. Like she hates when we
Yeah,
even sing happy birthday to her and have like
yeah.
everyone's looking at her kind of thing. But she did really good, and so that was fun. That was a nice way to this is the first time that she's really showcased her art, right? Her
That's pretty
creations.
cool.
Yeah, so that was fun. And then yesterday I just
That's
had
pretty cool.
no energy. I was very overstimulated from all of that, and then we went to lunch with a friend, and then we went to my husband's grandparents for a birthday party, and so yesterday I was just, like, tapped. I just binged a bunch of TV. I didn't even really leave the
Yeah,
house. I just couldn't do anything. Yeah.
yeah. Yesterday was my parents were here and, we just did all that house stuff, and then I was just sitting outside and everybody was talking, and I'm like, "I haven't showered." So I just, like, came inside and, like, took a break. Like, I
Yeah.
was over talked, I was overworked.
Yep.
I had 12,000 steps yesterday. I was just like, "You know what? I just need a shower." And by the time I took a shower, I felt so much better and put myself kind of I put myself in a timeout. I just walked
Yeah.
away from everybody and, like,
Yeah.
I didn't sometimes I just have to do that. Otherwise, I shut down while I'm sitting there with them, and that comes across as rude. So I just removed myself and took a shower, and I felt so much better having,
Yeah.
clean clothes on and getting just the filth of the day off. But I've just been on this kick of getting up early in the morning and doing my walks now that I can be outside. It's so much oh my god, walks outside, I just live for them. But I'm
Mhm.
getting vitamin D in the morning, and I think that is helping me sleep better. So I've been going on these walks. The sun is not up yet. And by the time I like pattern it out, because we live in this big, huge circle, I pattern it to where I'm on the farthest side or the closest side to the sun.
Okay.
And like I probably look like a freak, but I'm standing there facing the sun and just staring right at it alongside the road. And I'm up in someone's yard and I'm just staring at it. And I stare at it for like 3 minutes. And I
Okay.
feel like it's been like regulating my sleep cycle a lot better. Cause like come 9:30, I'm like out.
Nice.
Not like wanting to be on my phone, not wanting to be on TV, not wanting to like talk, out.
Yeah.
Like falling asleep with ease. So yeah, I'm just staring at the
Nice.
sun, which begs the question. You can look at the sun first thing in the morning and see it. It doesn't hurt your eyes at all. Why does it hurt your eyes the higher it gets? You can
That'd
stare
be a
right at the sun as soon as it comes up. Big
Yeah,
ole
I
sun.
don't know. That'd be a good ChatGPT question. I've heard that that helps open your pineal gland, like your third
Mhm.
eye.
Mhm.
spirituality kind of thing. It's supposed to
Mhm.
help you with
I'm
that.
also if you really wanna go a step further, I'm also listening to 99 hertz sound waves, like
Mm,
music, whenever I'm
yeah,
looking at the
yeah,
sun. So I
nice.
just feel like really
Just in the
I don't
zone.
know, lately I've just been really feel like I'm in my own element, like my own
Mhm.
I'm coming into all the negative toxic shit is like not as prevalent in my like forefront of my brain all the time.
Yeah.
I'm reading a book right now and she's like, if you have this negative, I'm like, I don't have a negative mindset anymore. I can see where I used to, but
Mhm.
I don't think bad thoughts. And in
Yeah.
this book, she talks a lot about be conscious of what you're doing it when you're doing it. Like right now, you and I are talking. I'm not thinking about my workload. I'm not thinking about my chore list. You and I are having a conversation. But it's
Mhm.
like when we do mindless stuff, and she used the example in the book, when we're doing laundry, we're not thinking about laundry. We're thinking about, well, when I'm done with this and I got to fix dinner, then I got to do this and I got to, take the dog out and pick up the poop. And
Yeah.
just, like, focus on the laundry. Focus on the fact that you have laundry to fold. Focus on how clean it is. Focus on that, you have the ability to wear what you wanna wear this week. Like, start
Mhm.
focusing on what you're actually doing and thinking about what you're doing, and you won't let those intrusive negative thoughts pop in because you're so
Mhm.
focused on what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it's
Mindfulness.
just that perspective. Yeah, it's being mindful of the
Yeah.
moment
Being in
instead
the
of getting
present moment.
lost in yeah.
Yeah, that's why
So
it's good to
again,
incorporate things that help you do that a little easier. Some people like to paint, if you like to work
mhm, yeah,
out, there's different things that you can do that almost automatically just keep you present in the moment. Cooking, cleaning, like it depends on
yeah,
who you are and what you like to do, but there are things you can do. Like for me, when I'm singing, I am nowhere else. I'm just
yep,
like that's where I'm very present. I'm just right in there in that moment. And time just flies by when you're doing
mhm,
it. And so finding
yeah.
little things like that, it really helps you stay grounded and stay centered.
I think it's helping me, like, I started to get really anxious about the house, like, "Oh my gosh, we gotta do this, we gotta do this, we gotta do this," and it's like,
Yeah. Which is
stopping it
understandable because it's a big
right,
deal. There's a lot
right,
happening.
but what I was telling my mom was, like, if I don't, like, be mindful in the next 2 months, I'm gonna be
Just like
so
spin out.
worried that I'm gonna miss out on
Right.
what's happening, which is Joe's senior year and, be more present with her and fuck this and, like, just focus here and, like, really gonna have to pick my battles in the next 2 months of, like, what is necessary and what is, like,
Mhm.
just me being overly worried about shit like that. So,
Yeah,
it's just
totally.
being really mindful of be in the moment and stop. Like, even just this morning, I'm trying to hurry. I had a bunch of shit because I didn't get to work a lot this weekend. I worked on the house, not on work.
Mhm.
And so Augie was like, "Hey, can you help me?" He's doing these seek and find books. He's like, "Can you help me find this?" And I'm like, normally I'd just be like, "No, I can't. I have to hurry up and get." I was like, "Sure." On my robe, I got down. I'm like on the floor, like, just give him a few minutes this morning. He came to me to ask me to help him. Where I think the old me, especially with the first two kids, would have just been like, I can't, I got to get ready for work.
Mhm.
And it's like that kiddo came out of all the people in our house. He came to me and said, will you help me find this? Like, just take those 2 or 3 minutes. So I sat there, rubbed his back. You're supposed to be kissing the top of boys' heads so that they have that chemical reaction to their mom's kisses. So I'm like kissing all over his head. And he's like, would you stop kissing me? But being more mindful of being present.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
It,
big,
it,
and
it
that
takes
helps you sleep
practice.
too. I mean, that
Oh,
just
yeah.
just winding down your mind. Sometimes, when
Yeah.
I, like, lay down to go to sleep, I will just focus on my breath, almost in like a
Yeah.
meditation, and
Uh-huh.
it just helps me fall asleep faster. And then speaking of which too, I wanted to tell you guys just in case, 'cause I know a lot of you suck at sleep. A lot of you guys do,
Mhm.
and I get it 'cause I struggled to really find what works for me. But there's a few things that I've been doing. So I've been seeing those cervical pillows all over TikTok. And I was like, that is interesting. I need to try that. So I had bought one off of Amazon that had some good
Okay.
reviews and it did not work for me and it sucked and I sent it back. So then I found a different one. Same thing. It's like a really weird shape where it supports your neck, but then like has a thing for your shoulders and then like a hole for your head. And it looks really
Yeah.
weird, but it fits in your pillowcase. And so I got a new one and I love it. And it works so good. Cause I go
Really?
to the there's this fucking groundhog, this motherfucker. We have these two groundhogs that come every goddamn spring and we have to catch them and we release them at the park and they find their way back. He's
Oh,
just
I'm gonna tell you,
look at him
that's not
taunting
what
me.
we do where I'm from.
I know you
We
probably
don't we we don't
murder
catch
them.
them.
He's just out for
Sometimes they
breakfast.
pew
So
pew. Yeah.
I've been using the pillow and then I got these melatonin gummies.
Okay.
Girl. So you're supposed to take two of them And I can, if I take one, it helps me like pass out within a half an hour and stay asleep. Cause that's kind of my thing. I can fall asleep
Wow.
pretty easily, but I just do a lot of tossing and turning sometimes. And I wake up and then I'm just
Yeah.
like, so, but they help me stay asleep. They've been working so well, and I'm so excited to have found these. So I've been taking a little melatonin gummy, and then I always use those little silk eye masks too, because you're supposed to kind of
Okay.
block out any
I need
artificial light or
to
anything like that.
I'm like right now, Katie, our assistant, she can't sleep for shit. She's a horrible sleeper. So I'm sending her the link to that right now because
Yes, those
she
it's been
struggles.
working really well,
Okay.
and
Okay.
then we use white noise too. I put like a fan on.
Yeah. I
Um,
do the orange, the salt lamp light. I think
yeah,
there's
you
one
like
over there.
those. My daughter
Oh,
uses one of those too. I don't have
dude.
enough outlets in my room because my house is 100 years old, so there's only like one place to plug stuff in. So, but I think when we move, I wanna put more of those in my room and put them on when I'm
Yeah.
sleeping.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm doing really well with sleep. Like I'm falling asleep. I'm listening to my body. Like I'm outside, in the living room and I'm just like, look at Jared. I'm like, I'm going to bed. Like, you want to stay up? Jared's a night owl. Jared will stay up and he got back into gaming. So he's like, if all the work is done, I'm going to get on and game. And that used to be his thing for 10 years before me. And then once we met, he never gamed. And now that he has a little bit more freedom,
Mhm.
I think he's going to go back to that. But I'm like, dude, I'd rather sleep.
Yeah.
I would rather sleep than stay up late and game, but you do you, boo.
Yeah.
I'm starting to take these lion mane gummies,
Okay.
and
Is
all I
that for
can re
your brain? Is it like
the
clarity,
the amount
cognitive
of
help?
focus that comes to me is usually
Mm.
like, on my period cycle, my period week is like high right before and the day of are like high intensity focus. I mean, I could probably map out a solution to most problems in the world when I'm on my period. Like my brain is just like fire.
Nice.
Then after my period, I'm back to mush and average. But these kind of bring that same feeling back. Like nothing is impossible. I can
Mm.
tackle anything.
I might have
So
to try those because I've been looking for
my
something to help
doctor.
with my
Mhm,
brain just for focus and
mhm.
clarity. I've been seeing those Joe Rogan,
Yeah,
um,
Jared tried those. I mean, but I don't know. It might
he
have
didn't
been
really
Jared.
notice the
Jared's
difference.
pretty passive. Jared's pretty like, there's not much. But yeah, I've been loving the lion's
Okay.
mane. So
Yeah,
my
someone else.
doctor, she's really, yeah, super holistic. She's the one that was like, try these, if you want,
Okay.
because I want that edge. I want that like I get so endorphin rich during my period of like I just know my brain is firing on all cylinders and it's such a cool feeling. And I'm like, how can I get this back? Why do I have to
That's so
wait 28
funny.
more days?
I'm
Yeah.
I'm emotional and irrational when I'm on my period,
Yeah.
or at least up to that
The
point.
week the
I
week
can I just
before.
can cry at like any moment kind of thing.
Yeah, the week before I'll be I'm usually angry the week
Yeah,
before,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I will snap
Shorter
at the
fuse.
littlest fucking things. I'll be like,
Right.
"Why are you making that noise right now?" Like,
Right.
and then the next week, I'm like, "I don't even hear it." It was funny, my dad was here this weekend, and he's, 55, 65 years old, and, he was sitting in the lawn chair out in the garage, and it was my mom and dad and Jared and I sitting there, and even my daughter was there, but the 2 little boys were in the background just playing with dinos and cars and shit in the garage, and my dad was like, I don't know how you guys can even have a conversation. He's like, "Can you not hear how loud it is in the garage?" And Jared and I are like, "It's white noise at this point. Like, we don't hear our kids." And he's like, "I'm not used to it." Because they were banging cars and just being
Right.
really loud. And my dad was just like,
You just kind
"It
of
is
tune
so
it out.
fucking loud here." Like, well, this is why you don't have a 5 and 4-year-old in your late age because you can't
Yeah.
handle it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
And,
so I
so I wanted to tell you real quick,
oh,
this morning, this is something that happened this morning, and this just goes to
mm,
show how manifestation works and how the universe works.
bring
Okay.
it.
So I have a vision board, and I made it on Canva, and I put things on it, and then when the things come to fruition, I move it to a different vision board, and then I keep adding to my one. So I had been manifesting personal training
Oh,
sessions.
yeah. Yeah.
I go to the gym a few times a week. I've been manifesting that I wanted a personal trainer to help me kind of up my game.
Mhm.
So when I first signed up like a month ago for these sessions, there was some deal. There was some nice deal where you get like a free session and you 3 months or whatever. And I'm like, sweet, done. It was a really good price. I'm like, perfect. Thank you, universe. I'm so grateful for these sessions. So I've only had 2 so far. So today I'm working out this morning with my personal trainer in the gym. And we start small talking with this dude who's there. He's like an older guy. And I've seen him there.
Yeah.
You see your regulars and you end up, you give him a
Uh-huh.
wave and a hey or whatever because you see him there all the time. So we start chit chatting, and he's like, "Yeah, I have so many sessions just built up because I had just bought them, and it was kind of an automatic renewal. And then when you don't use them, they just roll over. And I had shoulder surgery. He's like, so I just have all these sessions. He's like, you know what? You take a session today. Your session today is free. Just take one of mine. And I'm like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, no. He's like, I see you here all the time. You're always
Oh,
working so hard. He's like, just take one of my sessions. I was like, thank you. So on the drive home, I'm like, thank you, universe. I just got a free fucking personal training session with a dude who's been there, right? I never would have been able to conceive of that as a way
yeah.
for training to come to me, right?
Mhm.
Here's the thing, the universe is infinite. There are
Yeah.
infinite amount of possibilities in
Yeah.
which the thing that you want can come to you in
Yeah.
ways that you never would have even conceived. I never would have thought, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to run into this guy. He's going to have all these extra training sessions. He's just going to be super nice. He's just going to give them to me.
Right.
Like, I
Right.
never would have been able to say, yeah, that's how this is coming to fruition.
Mhm.
So that just goes to show you guys, anything that you want, stop with your limiting beliefs. Don't say, oh, well, this won't work or this isn't.
Yeah.
Then you're the one that's blocking your manifestations and blocking the abundance and everything you're trying to bring into your life, because there are so many ways that you
Mhm.
never would even be able to piece together that the universe can find to bring you the things that you want. So I
Yeah.
had to share that story because I was just like, thank you. I was so grateful. Thank you for my free training session today, you know?
Right. Right. My mom, they're selling their house because, all of us are selling our houses because we're all getting out of our state. And so my mom, when she came up here this weekend, she goes, I'm going to sell my house this weekend.
Mm,
And no, she's away from her house. Her house is in Tennessee. And she goes, I'm selling my house this weekend. We're sitting outside, 5 o'clock. She opens up her email and she goes, the people that made an offer down here just brought their offer above asking. And she
nice.
looked at me and she goes, she just started manifesting like maybe a month ago. She goes, I've never believed in this shit more in my life. She was just like,
I
I
love
told
it.
the universe that I was going to sell my house this weekend. She goes, and they went from low ball to over like that,
That's
in
amazing.
days. And it's just like, so I'm over here like, okay, I got too many things I'm manifesting right now. Like I need to hone in and like do myself. But, and even when you find out bad news or you think it's bad news, like your manifestation didn't work, we had that kind of happen this weekend, and I'll share, and then we'll go on to something I learned from Mel Robbins today, which I think is just phenomenal. But, I've been telling you guys it was a toss up between Auburn and Alabama for Joe.
Mhm,
And unfortunately, she didn't get into to Auburn.
mhm.
And so while the old me, when we first found out the first time she didn't get in and we appealed and she didn't get in again, we were devastated the first time. And now, because of Leah and this manifesting and having all these new books in my brain and podcasts
Mhm.
in my brain, when we found out the second time, it was like, instead of being disappointed, we spun it and we were just like, obviously the universe has a bigger plan for her at
Yes.
Alabama, that she's going to change lives, that she's going to have this connection, that she's going to
Yes.
meet Mr. Wonderful, that she's going to find an opportunity that we don't know about. And
Yeah.
we're leaving it up to the universe to go, man, I can't wait to see what this brings us, that she's moving here, And while my parents wanted to live in Auburn, they're like, there must be some hidden pocket of greatness down there that we don't know about, that we're going
Mhm.
to find now that we know that's where we're going. And so it is about perception, which leads me right into this amazing thing that Mel Robbins said today. I was like searching for a quick podcast this morning,
Mhm.
and I found out Mel Robbins is one of my favorites. And she was like, here are 5 things that people worry about that you can't fucking change. So stop worrying about it and think of them differently. And when I heard him, I was like, holy shit, that's me, and especially the old me. The first one, weather. Now, when she first said
Ugh.
it, she's like, stop worrying about the weather. You can't fucking change it. But then she took it a step further and she said, let's say you planned something, like you plan on going for a walk, but you woke up and you're like, fuck, it's raining.
Yeah.
And you're like, now I can't go for my walk. She's like, why not just still go for your walk? It's rain. You take a shower every day and get wet. Why can't you just go for the walk? She goes, if you start challenging your brain to do things that you're like, ugh, about, it
Mhm.
helps with some part of your brain. And I can't remember what she said, but
Mhm.
some part of your brain that's when you get pushed to like death, that can make you survive because you've practiced
Mm.
doing things that you don't want to do, and you've practiced things that are hard, and you've practiced things that make you uncomfortable. And so
Mhm.
this part of your brain, you're practicing.
I love
So
that.
just by, instead of being like, oh, I can't do what I wanted to do. Yeah, you still are going to go do what you want to do,
Right.
and like, people that worry about weather for weddings, it's like, those actually end up being one of the best weddings because something has to change real fast and everything, oh, now instead of outside, we have to move it inside, or it's outside and it becomes the most comical, beautiful thing where everybody's getting wet and it's the best
Yeah.
memory you've had of the whole, thing. So she's like, just change your perception. The other one is waiting in line, which traffic or waiting in line at the
My
post office,
husband
like
sucks at that. I'm really good at it because I can just
weird.
find my center, like find my space where I can
Mhm.
just, I'm waiting, I'm breathing or whatever.
Right.
He struggles.
But so she said, she goes, there's two things to look at this here. You're waiting in line. You can't control it. You can't
Right.
stop the traffic. You can't stop that the
Right.
post office
You're
only
gonna get
has one worker and there's
aggravated that
17.
they're not moving fast enough. And
Yeah. She's like, you spend so much energy trying to fuck up something that you can't even control. She's like, instead, ask yourself, if you're in traffic, go, you know what? There's a reason why I'm held up because I wasn't supposed to be at the point where there's impact,
yes,
where there's something that's happening. Like this truck is going slow in front of me because I'm not supposed to be at that next intersection
yes.
because I
Or
don't
I'm
want to be,
supposed to take this detour, or yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yes. And then she said, if you're in line and you have all this time to kill, or at a doctor's office, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is taking forever, or Starbucks and somebody gets the order in front of you and you're just like, what the fuck? Why isn't my order coming up? She goes,
Mhm.
the universe is telling you it's time to go text somebody or reach out to somebody that you haven't gotten back to in a long time. You have this
Mhm.
opportunity to be like, you know what? One of my goals was to touch base with girlfriends more often. The universe is saying, bitch, I'm giving you time right now. You're doing nothing but
Yes.
standing in
Or
line.
to
Go
just sit
text
with
them.
yourself
Yes.
quietly. If you don't have a
Yes.
lot of time to do that because you're working and you have the kids and you're balancing
Yes.
all these things, if you're waiting at the doctor's office, just chill. Just take that
Yeah.
minute to just breathe and be mindful and be present.
Yes. The next one, which I think is affecting a lot of people, she said, you can't control what you're seeing on social media. So stop being on it so damn much. Like, we
Mhm.
can't control that the news is giving us the news. We can't control what we're scrolling because we're on it so damn much and it's affecting us. Like, I know I'm getting really good. If I see something that triggers me, I hold it and I'm like, not interested in this shit anymore. And just because
Oh,
I can't change it, I don't want to know. Like, when
yeah.
Jared starts talking to me about something he heard on social media and has to do with politics, I'm one of those like, dude, politics is not where I want to spend my time and energy. Like,
Yeah.
don't even bring it up. I don't care. I don't care. I don't want to know. Like, I just get angry about it. So please don't talk to me about it. So
Mhm.
she was saying, like, social media is a big point of how many hours are you wasting with TV and social media? And you can't control anything when you get warped into it. Like,
Mhm.
you're losing mindless hours of just scrolling. And I think we're all guilty of that. The last two are past and future, which I just think goes right into where our wheelhouse is, especially with divorce, of like, so many of us, we can't control our past. So why do we get so fucking consumed with it? And we can't do anything about the future because we're not even fucking there yet.
Yeah.
So, like, that whole mindfulness of like, live in the fucking present and stop being like, woe is me and like, oh shit, with both the past and the future. And I
Mhm.
just thought these were so juvenile, so easy, like 5 tips of like you can't control, but we see so many of our clients that get wrapped in to the past and the future,
Mhm.
especially not
Mhm.
forgiving themselves or worried about the future
Yeah.
self, and they're not living now
Right.
at all. No mindfulness.
Because there's so much when you're stepping into the unknown like that, it's stressful. I mean, you
Mhm.
don't know how you have a lot of fear around it, and yeah, guilt and all kinds of stuff, but it is true. I mean, my company isn't called Mindfully Ready for no reason.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, it's true. You can't change the past, but you do have a hand in co-creating your future, but part of that is,
Mhm.
what are you doing in the present moment? What are you focusing
Yeah.
on? What are you thinking about? What are your beliefs? Where do you want to go? And then you can start creating that path for yourself to create the future that you want, because it's all possible. It is all possible. It's our
It is.
own beliefs, limiting beliefs and fears that keep us from being able to create that change that we want to see.
Yeah, there was in this book that I'm reading, she was talking about like helping your inner child.
Mhm.
And so many of us are stuck in the past because we haven't helped our inner child. And one quick little lesson she just said is like, when you hit that roadblock of like your inner child is telling you you're not good enough, or you're not, you can't do that, or that won't work, or whatever. She's like, teach your inner child. Like, go back and have a teachable moment. Like, you've been told a falsehood, or you watched something that wasn't your story. It was your parents' story, but this isn't your story. You
Mhm.
observed someone else's story and took it on as your own. And teach your inner child that, hey kiddo, this isn't the way your story is. That was just a story you were in because you were a child. You have your own story now. And I like it was so understandable when I was reading it. Like, you're right. I mean, my parents got married really young and survived it and did great, but it's like they were young. And I
Mhm.
was a baby, and like that was their story. I'm old having kids. So like our stories aren't the same. We're
Mhm.
not going to do the same things. And like forgiving, them, or I don't even know if that's the right word, but like just accepting that that was their story, but it
Right.
wasn't mine.
Yeah.
That we
And
had
it's
different
cliche,
stories.
but truly everyone's journey is different. It
Yeah.
really is true. I mean, you
Yeah.
were put on this earth for it's your own journey to learn your
Yeah.
own lessons, to do your own accomplishments, to have your own the things that you get excited about and drawn to and your natural
Yeah.
talents and abilities. And I mean, everybody is very different.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just thought those last two, when she hit him, I'm like, you know how many years I lost worrying about like trying to forgive myself for the past? Like, you're the one that married him, and you're the one that did this, and you're the one that did that. And it was like, you're the one that, and I'm just like, I lived in that so long. And part of that, when she was talking about it, Mel said, just let it go. Like,
Yeah.
forgive yourself and move the fuck on. Like, I
Right.
can't go back to my early 30s when I was fucking around and finding out. And
Yeah.
like to be like, "Oh man, that was such an ugly phase of my life." Like, "Oh, that was so gross and so ugly and so dangerous and so stupid." And so yeah, but I had to have done it so I could be here. Like, I wouldn't have, I guarantee you I wouldn't be here today giving advice that I give and talking the way I talk and sharing what I share had I not just let that go. Like, that was a part of me. It was 3 years of ugliness. It was 3 years of stupid decision making, and it's who I was back then. But I'm
Mhm.
not, that's not who I am now.
Mhm.
And I have to let that go. And the future, I don't think I'm ever worried about the future other than like this selling this house. Like, it's in the future. Like, it's going to come, but I know it's going to sell.
Yeah.
I know my house will sell. I know
Sure.
my house that I'm moving into will be great. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have as much worry about the future. And I
Mhm.
do really feel like right now I'm sitting in a place in my life where I am present. And I
Yeah.
don't know that I've ever been there. I've
Right.
always been pissed about the past or fucking freaked out about the future.
Same. It's just survival mode. Yeah, worrying
Mhm.
like but it's true. And you guys, hanging out with us right now, think about that. What would that look like if you just decided to trust that everything was going to work out?
Mhm.
What if you just decided everything is working out for my highest good? Everything always works out for me.
Yeah.
What if you just decided that that's how things were going to go and you really believed that and embraced that and you sit with it and you just trust. You don't have to know how, you don't have to know
Yeah.
when, you don't have to know understand yet how things will unfold. Just having that faith that whatever it is, whether it's God or the universe or energy, I mean, it doesn't matter what it is, but just
Yeah.
having that faith that you're taken care of and that things are going to work out better than you can even imagine. If you just hold on to that, you're right. Whatever you believe, quantum physics. I mean, if you want to get into the
Yeah.
science of it, whatever you believe, that's the truth. That's how your reality is unfolding. You are a magnet, you are energy. So
Yeah.
start believing things that help serve you, that support where
Mhm.
you want to go and who you want to be. And just trust, even though you don't know how, just trust it will unfold exactly how it's supposed to. Even like Sam was saying with the colleges, it's all perspective. When
Yep.
things don't work out the way that you planned, just use that perspective of, well, I don't understand yet why it's happening this way, but I just trust. I trust this
Yeah.
is the road I'm supposed to go
Mhm.
down, the state I'm supposed to move to, the job I'm supposed to take, the person I'm supposed to meet. I just trust that somehow this is guiding me to something even better than I could have even imagined. And that's
Right.
literally how shit unfolds.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is when you can take that perspective of things, you don't get angry, you
Yeah.
don't get frustrated, you don't have this ugh, around you. Um, and it just changes everything. Like,
Yeah.
I'll give you an example of this morning or this past weekend. I asked Jared a couple weeks ago. I'm like, "Hey, can I sleep in on one of the weekends?" And I say that I'm not a sleep in person. But I said, "Hey, can I sleep in?" Because I usually let him sleep in. And this weekend, Augie came into our room, woke us both up. But Jared can go back to sleep. Once I'm awake, I'm awake. I'm
Same.
fucked.
Yeah.
And so I just got up and I went on my walk, whatever. Blah, blah, put Augie, on the couch, whatever. And I came and on my walk, I just kept catching myself mad at Jared. Like, cannot believe he didn't like be the one that got up with the kids and blah blah blah. And halfway through my walk, I'm like, I'm angry about something that Jared has no idea I did. I got up. Jared went back to sleep. I got up. I'm on my walk doing what I enjoy, but yet I'm walking around with all this hostility towards him because he didn't magically read my mind that this was the weekend. This was the day that I wanted to sleep in because I didn't even tell him. And I was just like, stop and think about yourself. That's what you used to do. You used to get mad at people about the dumbest, stupidest things because they didn't read your mind. So on
Hmm.
my walk, I'm like, just communicate with him that, hey, next Saturday, I'd like to sleep in. If the kids wake up early, you got them. I have to communicate that to get people to understand. But the old me would think, well, why didn't he understand? I told him 2 weeks ago. Well,
Right.
if it's not on a list, Jared doesn't do it. And
Yeah.
like, so in my mind, I'm like, I'm mad at somebody that didn't even know that was. And so I just caught myself of like, look where you're at. Do you really want to ruin this walk by being this angry? No. So like, fuck it. You can't go back. You're already up. You're already moving your body. Like enjoy. And I enjoyed the rest of my walk and I came back, but I had to change my perspective of, instead of being like, fuck, my whole morning got screwed because I have to be up now at 6 o'clock instead of, getting to sleep in. It's all perspective of how you just really look at it. And I had to be mindful of what I was doing. I was on a walk, which is a thing I enjoy. So like
Yeah.
fucking enjoy it instead of
Yeah.
like being pissy. Like just enjoy this walk right now. Be mindful of where you're at. You're outside doing what you want to do. Like go back and have a conversation with him about next weekend. But I don't know. It's the old me would have been mad for the whole day.
Yeah.
I just would have been walking around with an attitude, chip on my shoulder, like, well, must have been nice sleeping in, like,
Right.
and by the
That's where
time I
that
got back, he was already
self-awareness
up.
comes in. That's why it's so
Mhm.
important that mindfulness and self-awareness, because you can catch yourself, you can break old patterns and behaviors and habits and
Yes.
implement new ones that make everything better, make your relationships
Yeah.
better, how you feel
Yeah.
better. It's
Yeah.
really
Did I wanna
powerful.
waste a whole weekend day being mad about him, about something that I couldn't change? I was already up.
Mhm.
And it's me. I'm the one that can't go back to sleep. He could go back to sleep in 2.3 seconds. Our personalities are different, and what our skill sets are, but I don't know, like the old me, I'm just so glad I'm here. I'm finally glad I'm to the point where I can be mindful of this is your trait. This is your issue. This is your thing. You got to like let it go, move on, sister. Like there's bigger things. And it was mind shifting of just don't go walking in that house with an attitude. And I
Yeah.
didn't, don't be ruining the fucking day, bitch, because you have
And the
you have the
walk
ability
helps
to do that.
too. You
Mhm.
just getting
Yeah.
outside, going for a walk, getting some fresh air, all that stuff
Yeah.
helps too. If you are spun, and you're
Uh-huh.
irritated or angry, that's a great outlet, a great way to help kind of
I
bring
am
it
one that has to leave. I know, like they say, don't leave angry. No, you want me to leave so I can go get fresh air, ground my feet, and come back. And I will be a completely
Mhm.
different person. If you make me like right now, I will cut you with my tongue. So yeah, I'm one in a fight. I leave because I need to like calm down, cool
Mm,
off, and then I can come back. But
mhm.
yeah, it's just being so super aware. I think you're right. Like it's self-awareness of what are your triggers, where are you at, how do you cope? How do you respond? How do you deliver information instead of always passing the blame to somebody else?
Mhm. Yep,
Self-awareness,
so true.
is huge. What do we have going on in the next chapter today?
Yeah, so
Which
we're
is what
gonna
we
head
do.
over today we're helping you stop engage with your toxic high conflict ex. So
Ooh.
many of you struggle with this, especially
Mhm.
if you're co-parenting or parallel parenting, because you are afraid that if you don't respond, then you're gonna look like you're the one who's not cooperating, or you're the high conflict person, and
Amen.
are you gonna get in trouble? And so, but there are ways to not engage unless absolutely necessary. And so we're going to
Yeah.
teach you all of those things so that you can stop having so many unnecessary conversations, especially ones that end up escalating into other arguments or whatever. That's not going to
Right.
help anybody.
And last week we gave a podcast. I just uploaded it this morning, and that's why I'm thinking of it. We did a podcast last Thursday, which always comes out on Monday, about children and how to break the cycle of your bad habits so your children don't end up divorced. And I will have
Hmm.
to say, I think that's probably going to be one of our top listened to podcasts. So
Hmm.
it's out there right now, The Ugly Truth of Divorce, on any podcast, station that you tune into. Go give that a listen, because I think if you're worried how this is affecting your kids, use this divorce to actually teach your kids on how to know themselves better, and the traits and stuff to look for in a partner. That
Hmm.
episode was really, really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Because again, anything that you're doing for you, self
Mhm.
awareness and
Yeah.
just self-reflection and setting boundaries and all of those things, that's then the tools that you're passing on to your kids. So it really all starts with the work that you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, you guys, the next chapter is the place to be. Every Monday we come in with a training. Every Thursday we answer your questions. So again, I have people that just messaged me. I saw my inbox this morning. It's like, you're booked out till the end of May. And I'm like, but the next chapter, I answer your question this Thursday.
Mhm.
This Thursday, we answer your questions. So to me, stop booking the consults and get into the next chapter. You get all the trainings, you get all the past trainings, you get all the
Mhm.
current trainings, and you're in there for at least a month. And if you want to just keep renewing, you're in there. And every Thursday, you could ask us a question.
Mhm. Live Q&A. Yeah.
Like, come on, hang out in
Mhm.
there. It's a place to be. All right, you
Right.
guys, until next week, we will see you. Behave yourselves and do something for yourself. Be mindful of your reactions to things.